Our topic for this segment is going to be a story that maybe isn't a story, but might eventually be a story.
Oh,
I know we lost Luddy already.
Where did that go?
So let's start with the tweet, John, because I believe it was about a week ago when there were ripples sent by Andy Strickland, who does a podcast out of St. Louis, the Cam and Strick Pod, tweeting, as you can see on the screen, or if you're listening, it says, NHL owners will be meeting soon to approve the expansion opening. Leading candidates / ownership groups are believed to be Fertitta, which is in Houston, and Kraus in Atlanta. Then I saw this yesterday. It's actually, I think it came out today, but NHL news about Amazon Prime doing a Monday game up in Canada on Canadian TV. Put that back up, John. And it said they talked to Commissioner Gary Bettman for that. And in it, this article from the Toronto Star, and I read it, and Bettman says there's no factual truth to what came out, nothing more than rumors. We are not opening expansion. So,
malarkey.
What do you believe, Sean?
Gary Bettman is a lawyer at heart. Let's just call it what it is. It is an NHL league run by labor lawyers. So you say the proper thing that legally gets you in as little trouble as possible. That's what I think.
So
it's a good answer.
Yeah,
that's
he's right.
It. Yep.
Right? By the letter of the law, they are
Yep.
not opening expansion right now.
Yep.
But we all believe, I mean, I don't know. I believe this. I don't know if you guys do. It all feels very much like there's a lot of momentum starting to build or being built for a while with Atlanta for another attempt. Remember, they had the Flames first, then they had the Thrashers. But this feels like a really concerted effort by a couple of groups with, as you saw in the tweet, one definitely leading the way. Then there's the long-time conversation from Houston, because ever since Tillman Fertitta bought the Houston Rockets, and I believe it's called Toyota Center still down there, their home arena, that the desire to have a team, which was very different under the previous owner of the Rockets for the NBA team, which wasn't happy to have the Houston Aeros, was the Minnesota AHL affiliate. That was like 12 years ago when I was down with Texas. That feels like he would like a team there. There may be some mixed feelings about the Stars wanting to share the state of Texas. I think it would be fantastic. I also think that the league really wants a new building and a new relocation or restarted Arizona Coyotes at some point. That would give 3 pretty solid future plans. They have 32 teams now. Does 36 sound like a good idea? I mean, is that something you think that we'll see in the next 10 years? Thoughts?
I don't like it, but it's a business, and I think when you look at owners and what these teams are going to be going for over $1 billion, it's going to be hard to say no to these.
You know
what I worry about the most? I worry about the most that they're going to get to so many teams that we're going to have a play-in game or something like that. One of those kind of play-in
in-season tournament.
You don't want a one-off for the playoffs. You like?
I don't. I mean, I'm
games.
kind of a traditional kind of thing. You know what I mean? I just
You are?
wouldn't you think?
Yeah, maybe.
Kind of.
I think Sam wants to go back and see if the pronunciation of that was.
I would love to hear from the 2 sports writers if they think that this league is going to get to 40 teams.
Sean has his hand raised.
I could raise my hand. I mean, from the business perspective, the one thing that, like, Bettman is being a lawyer on this, but the other thing that comes into play, TV deals are one of the most lucrative spots for leagues too, right? So like the expansion money is a big money, but one of the things that all these 2 teams have in common, whether you're talking about Phoenix or Houston or Atlanta, all 3 of them happen to be top 10 media markets as in the United States, as in market size, as in television eyeballs, things like that. Part of the negotiation for how much your TV deal is worth as a league, when you're talking to an ESPN or a Turner of the world, is how many top 10 markets you are in. That greatly increases the value of your league to those markets. So when you're talking about something like this, and we're in year 3 of the ESPN deal, I think right now, is that, someone check me? Am I on that? Am I right on that?
That's about right.
It was 2020. Wasn't it the 2021 season started it?
Is ESPN and the Kraken on the same timeline?
Yeah, it was the Tampa's second cup was the last NBC game, so
that was 21.
So it was 22. So 22, 23. This would be the third.
Yeah, this is the third year. So we're halfway through this Turner ESPN deal. And so the NHL is posturing for another TV deal 4 years from now. If all of a sudden you come to the table 4 years from now and you say, hey, we've added 2 top 10 media markets, all of a sudden your asking price starts to go up a bit. That's honestly one of the biggest parts of all of this. It's also the reason that, like, I once had an NHL team president tell me the NHL will be in London, England before it's ever in Quebec City. Right? Like, that's like, because you always see people talk about
because of the size of the media market.
Correct. Like, it's like Quebec City will never ever happen in the business economics of the NHL because it holds zero TV value at all. And Houston, Atlanta both provide a ton. Phoenix provides a ton. The NHL going, like, they're very happy the team's working in Utah and everything like that. Like, they're taking their victory lap right now. I saw one of the most hilarious tweets ever about the Utah preseason game last night, where it's like, oh, this feels like a playoffs atmosphere. Hockey belongs in Utah. The building's almost full. Like, that's like building's almost full. Playoff atmosphere, whatever. Like, that's the NHL. The reason Gary Bettman was so dedicated to keeping a team in Phoenix for so long was because Phoenix was this top 10 media market. He definitely, if he's not going to go back there, he wants in Atlanta and Houston. And from the Stars world, right? Like, I think from a business perspective, I think it probably would help the Stars if Houston comes into play, because I think it creates more hockey fans. It probably actually cuts their travel costs down. It probably creates another AHL team. The hockey offerings within the state grow up. Obviously, and the Stars would probably get a nice little cut from the new team coming into their TV area. They'd probably get a little check there. But to Lud's point, as far as things being watered down, I also just start to get to a little point of things, and where sometimes, like, I think more jobs are good. That's not a bad thing, but I think that we also get to the point where it's kind of hilarious right now, and we can rip on All-Star Weekend all the time like we all do, but it's kind of hilarious right now when you're like this is what the All-Star talent is. We have to take someone from this team that clearly doesn't have anything. At the end of it starts to water the product down a bit too. So I think you have to tread carefully is how I would look at it. Like,
well, I have the hunch, and I don't have anything to report on this. It's just my feeling that Houston and or Atlanta would be in before we see the Coyotes come back to Phoenix. I just think that the timing.
That guy Murillo or whatever his name is, he's got him. They're coming back, right?
Stop it.
He's got it nailed down.
No, he's pretty much done.
No. He's already gone completely. And,
why is Atlanta going to work?
He's on the beach with somewhere.
I don't know if there's anything.
Are there 12 million hockey fans that moved to Atlanta since the last time?
I love that.
No, I just wonder if there's. Yeah, that's a good question for Sean.
No, that's because you don't have an answer.
No, because I
feel no. I said, why is Atlanta going to work again this time?
Because I from what I've read, and I could be completely botching this, that they're talking about having a more concerted effort to market and a better building. If I'm not mistaken.
Well, what does the building and market have to do if there's no hockey fans?
Hopefully,
to start with, or are there that many hockey fans in Atlanta?
What do you think, Sean?
I mean, well, Luds, there was no hockey fans in Dallas in '93.
Well, I thought the Dallas Freeze was here, but I'm saying it didn't work the first time.
Yeah, Sean.
Why is it going to work this time?
Sean, was it more of an ownership issue or was it a market issue?
Yeah. I mean, it didn't worse the first time or the second time. The greatest thing for hockey in Western Canada has been putting a team in Atlanta. So all of Western Canada will be thrilled when this happens, because that means at some point maybe Moose Jaw will get a team. Who knows?
Saskatoon.
Bam.
The Thrashers were killed by terrible ownership. We could call that what it is. The Thrashers were killed by terrible ownership. The team would have been fine. It would have been, it could have worked. It was terrible ownership for the Thrashers. That's what killed them. And if you, with these markets, right, that's just like what Dallas was. If you go in with the right plan, if you go in and say, hey, we're going to come in, and it's not just building a better rink for the team. Why did the Stars work in Dallas? Well, they came in and they built, there's a dozen Star Centers now. They went through and invested in youth hockey. It's a point where you have to grow the grassroots program where these 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-olds get involved in the game, and then their parents become hockey fans. And then you build this entire generation of that. That to me is the way Atlanta has to work. I don't know if it's going to work, but that's what would have to happen for it to work formulaic wise from my perspective. And it's arena being a better spot. Yes, that's important. But the bigger thing is actually investing and growing the sport beyond that NHL team.
And the reason why I say I think those two would be in before the Coyotes come back is not because the NHL doesn't want Arizona back. They would probably take them back next year if they could. But they're still in the same problem of they need sound ownership and they need an arena. And they don't have either one of those things right now. And I think it's going to take 4 or 5 years, even if they were to establish that, to be able to get a new building somewhere in the Tempe, Mesa, Phoenix area that they or Scottsdale that they're clamoring for. It's going to take time. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got to 34 teams, but that's not balanced. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 36 in the next decade or so.
I wish there could be a team in Quebec. I know that's a financial thing, and with the Canadian.
Did you like playing at ALLCITY?
Oh, everybody loves playing. And I mean, it's Canada, it's Quebec, and the rivalries and all that stuff. And I think the players would all love to go. You know, a lot of these players probably never played there before, but I'm just saying, I think Quebec, if anybody deserves a team, it's that. But again, I know the numbers and the dollars don't work, and I'm
what
sure
about a
that's the
second
problem.
team? They've talked about not rumors, but just speculation of a second team in Toronto.
Yeah, and right across the street is what I hear.
I was just going to say the same
How does
thing.
that work out? I don't know. Well,
there's
again,
plenty of hockey fans that don't like the Leafs in Toronto.
They share an affiliate.
Yeah. So, you know what? Like, how do you get to see all the teams? How do you get to see all the players? You know, on like number of games and things like that. So, I don't know. I'm obviously old school, and I kind of like it where it is. And I just think now then you're going to extend the playoffs, and now then does that get watered down? You know, I don't know.